want to show you how I made a matching jogger set, this sweatshirt and pants that you can see now, like jogger pants. And honestly, I probably made every single mistake that you can make, and I want to talk about also these mistakes so you don't have to make them. So it should be an easy thing to do, like this simple sweatshirt and simple joggers, but sometimes I think that when it comes to sewing, everything, even if it's supposed to be super easy, it's not very easy for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just not talented, but I'm not giving up. I'm gonna keep sewing. And to be honest, these pants were the second pants that I made. I first made the other pair. I failed terribly making it for the first time, and I will also talk about it after I show you this successful, let's say. And yeah, without further ado, let's just see how it went for me. Alright, so let's start with the joggers. I decided to copy my pyjama pants for that. First, I wanted to draw a front, so I laid it on a paper, making sure all the seams are as flat as possible, and I just kinda drew all around it. I used a little help with stretching the elastic at the waist, so I get as accurate piece as possible. These pants are a bit too short for me, so I lengthened them 5 centimeters. I made it exactly the same with the back. Then I cut it all out, and as you can see, I also have a pocket. I copied a pocket from a random pant pattern from a magazine. You can also find plenty of pocket patterns online. Then, because I wanted them to be really oversized, I used a trick that I've seen in one of Made by Aya videos. Link will be in the description box below. Basically, what you can do is just cut the pattern piece in the middle and make a space as wide as you want your pants to be wider. I went for 6 centimeters, and you just tape a piece of paper at the top and at the bottom, and voila. And obviously you want to make it with both front and the back. Then I proceeded to cutting my fabric. So the fabric I went for is this really thick sweatpants kind of fabric. It's a heavy knit cotton, super soft on the wrong side. I folded my fabric in half, and this is where I made my first mistake because it should be the wrong side out, but I forgot about it. I don't think it made anything go wrong in the end, but if you use some light fabric, then you'd want to probably not draw on the right side of it. I don't know. Then I laid my pattern pieces using the cutout part as a guide for keeping the straight grain, and proceeded to draw an outline with a 1 cm seam allowance, as I didn't include that on my pattern. Also, I thought my pyjamas are not as high-waisted as I would like my joggers to be, so I decided to add 5 centimeters at the waist, and guess what? I remembered about it cutting the back piece, but forgot making it on the front. So I ended up with a 5 centimeters difference. I didn't want to go for a lower waist and just cutting off the difference, so I decided to cut additional rectangles, the width of my front pieces by 7 centimeters, which is 5 centimeters difference I had, plus twice 1 centimeter seam allowance. I hope it makes sense. When I had it all cut out, I started with sewing my additional rectangles at the top of my front pieces to make it all as it should be to begin with. Then I sewed pocket pieces, 1 to every pant piece, and guess what? I don't know how it went like that, but I sewed the first pocket piece to the crotch seam instead of the side seam. How great! So a little seam ripping again, and we're back on track. Then I pinned the front pieces right sides together at the crotch seam and sewed it, and then I took back pieces, laid it on the front again, right sides together, and sewed all around the pockets and then side seams. Then I made inner seams just the same. I measured the waistline and I cut a waistband that measurement by 12 centimeters. I marked where I wanted my rope inlets to be and I made buttonholes there. Then I pinned it to my pants and sewed it, and obviously the first time I did it wrong and my inlets were inside instead of outside. So I unpicked the seam again and started again. And then it turned out that the belt was too long, so I shortened it without unpicking the seam, and it all went surprisingly kinda okay. Then I realized I forgot to leave any openings for my elastics to put them through, so I unpicked the stitch at the belt. So please remember to always leave the opening for your elastics. And then I made 2 additional stitches at the belt to make 3 sections, top and bottom for elastics and the middle one for a rope. My belt is about 5 centimeters wide, so I made 1 stitch 1.5 centimeters from top and the second one about 1.5 centimeters from the bottom. I also hemmed the legs and again forgot to leave openings. Yay me! So the last part, finally, I measured the elastic on my waist and also my ankles and just put it through. And then I took the rope, melted its ends a bit so it doesn't fray, and also pushed it through and made little knots at the end, and that was it. You should also close all the openings, but I decided to leave it at the band for now, as I'm not sure if the elastic is the right length for me. I'll just wear it a bit and see. Alright, time for the top. To be honest, this is what I made first to start easy because I decided to find a pattern for a simple top, and it turned out I have a couple of magazines with the kind that I wanted to go for. Honestly, it can be any sweatshirt or hoodie. I went for that one with flounces. I will just change it up a little bit. I will skip flounces, crop it, and instead of making cuffs, I will just hem sleeves and put some elastic there to match it a little bit with my joggers. So I proceeded with cutting the pattern pieces out. I found my size, which is medium, and I cut it. This pattern was meant to be a bit oversized to begin with, so I just went for my size, but you can go for a bigger size if you have a pattern for something tighter or if you just really want to go big. It was only 4 pieces, front and back, sleeve and a neckband. This pattern doesn't have any seam allowance included as well, so I just started laying it on the fabric and I drew 1 centimeter seam allowance. Also, because originally it was supposed to have cuffs, I decided to add 5 centimeters to the sleeves, and I'm pretty tall, and most of this time sleeves are a bit short for me, so I lengthened them another 3 or 4 centimeters. I checked where I want my sweatshirts to be cropped, and as you can see now, I just folded the pattern on that point on both front and back pieces. Then I realized I checked the length with the back piece, so I checked it again with the front piece. I made sure both front and back was cropped at the same length, and I proceeded to drawing and then cutting the material. And it was the time for sewing again. With the top, it wasn't that bad as it was all well prepared, as it's a pattern from a magazine. So first I pinned the top and the back together, wrong sides out, and I sewed shoulder seams. Then I took neckline band and I sewed the short sides together and folded it in half. I pinned it to the neckline of the shirt and I sewed it all over. I was supposed to stretch it while sewing, and my material was not as stretchy, I think, and I ended up having to rip the seam and start again. This time I decided to pin it in 4 places instead of 2. And even then I was left with a crease at the front. It was almost perfectly at the center, so I decided to just leave it and pretend it was supposed to be like that. Then I pinned the sleeves to the bodice, sewed it, and then sewed the side seams and sleeves, and it was almost ready. Next I cut 2 pieces of elastic about my wrist size. I made the hem about 2 centimeters, left a small opening, pushed the elastic through with a safety pin, closed the openings, and it was done. Obviously you can hem the body still, but I decided to leave it raw. And now let me just quickly show you why I failed so bad with my first pant attempt. First of all, at the beginning, I didn't want joggers to be that oversized, so I decided to copy my joggers that I already have. I didn't stretch the elastic while doing that, and also my fabric is a lot thicker, so I ended up with really tight pants, not joggers at all. And second of all, I did a very bad job with keeping the straight grain, and one of legs is really twisted. So remember kids to always double check the straight grain. Alright, so that's it. Please don't judge me about how untalented I am with sewing, but I'm really happy with the result. I kind of wasted the material for the unsuccessful pants, but it's not that expensive. Things happen. And it didn't take too long, so still I'm pretty surprised how fast it went, despite the fact that I made pants twice. Sorry for keeping talking about it, but okay, I guess that's it. If you liked it, then make sure to click the thumbs up, and for more sewing and cross-stitch related content, consider subscribing. And I think that's it for today, so see you in the next one. Bye! Oh.